Hey, good morning, Drew. I see you did an update to the Salt Lake, Ogden, Provo forecast this morning.
Quite the storm, Mark. Pretty amazing. I'd say the classic under promise and over deliver storm. Looking at storm totals across our zones, we forecast for Ogden area mountains, Provo area mountains, and the central Wasatch up to 30 inches of snow in the upper reaches of Little Cottonwood,
Wow.
about half that in the Provo and Ogden area mountains. It's really quite the way to start the season.
Wow. And did that like what did you were out actually before this storm? What did this snow fall on?
Well, it's pretty amazing. I got up a few days ago, and unlike the last couple of years, uh, this this 2 feet and 2.5 feet of snow fell on bare ground, which is really good news. That old pre-existing snow can be quite troublesome. Looking at our neighbors, Mark, to our east, especially in the San Juans of Colorado, they're already seeing avalanches being remotely triggered down to near the ground on old pre-existing snow they had from a couple of weeks ago. So it looks like we may not have the same issue as them this year or from the last couple of years here in the Wasatch.
Yeah, so we're lucky that we had this warm, dry fall. What are your concerns, at least for the next few days?
Well, the two things come to mind early season. The old adage you can see here on my forecast from today is that if there's enough snow to ride, there's enough snow to slide. People can think that there's just not enough snow out there, but they can be unpleasantly surprised with early season avalanche activity. And then secondarily, in terms of sort of consequences, traumatic injury always complicates it because any brush with an avalanche often leads to traumatic injury just because all the buried stumps, obstacles, rocks are very thinly buried. So the
Yeah.
consequences are going to be heightened there with any early season issue.
Well, even if you don't get an avalanche, I think one thing that's been shocking to me this season is that there have been two fatalities already of people not involved in avalanches who have just fallen, and I think one in Montana and one in Canada. People who struck rocks. It's unclear exactly what happened, and they died as a result. And I don't remember a year when we've had two people die like this all of a sudden.
I also don't recall that. Certainly during the pandemic, which is still around, people are chomping at the bit to get out and about and sort of find some solace in the mountains. And I guess that brings us to sort of the next topic, Mark. Just to mention that the pandemic is still here, and our hospitals and emergency room and intensive care units are being really stressed. And if we could encourage people to sort of ratchet it back, that's going to help everyone in the community.
Yeah, for sure. So before we wrap it up, what are you seeing? You looked at the weather this morning. Is this the end of the snow, or do we have more coming?
Yep, this long way trough, this storm here we're seeing a little bit more snow with sort of wraparound snowfall coming in sort of on the northeast flow. But I bet that would probably start to wind down in the next few hours, a little bit of a break. A warm front, it looks like, for maybe midweek. We'll see maybe a few more inches of snow. The models continue to be consistent for something more interesting for the weekend. So I think we'll be up and running here pretty soon.
All right. So the season is off and running.
Yep.
All right. Good. Okay. Well, cool. Well, thanks for touching base and filling me in this morning.
Thanks for checking in, Mark.
All right. Talk later.
Yep.